answered. So what we're going to do is we're going to reserve some time at the end of this webinar, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever you guys need in order to really help you guys out with whatever some of your questions are. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Jeffrey Grossman. I am the owner and founder of Acupuncture Media Works and AcuPerfect websites. And Keith Gallant he works with us as our social media strategist and does some outbound sales for us. And his background is in social media managing. He ran a company and still runs a company that helps other people with social media strategies. Keith, jump on board.
Yep.
Say hello.
Yep. You hearing me okay, Jeffrey?
I hear you just fine. And
Great.
again, if you guys are having any issues there, there's a couple of things that you could do. You under your name, you could raise your hand. Um, there's like a little hand button that you can raise. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand there, and I will get to you at an appropriate time. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to put those questions in the question box below here, and we'll get to those as soon as possible. And I want to let
Yeah.
you know that this webinar is being recorded, so if you do say anything, that your voice will be recorded, and that we'll probably be using this in the future to share with other practitioners. So, Keith, I'm going to kind of
Great.
give you the
Okay.
reins here. Jump on board.
Terrific. Hey, and by the way, if you have a question, by all means, raise your hand at any given time. If Jeffrey feels that it's something that can wait till the end, or if we're in the middle of something that we're kind of focused on and concentrating terribly hard, it might wait till the end. But other times he might just interrupt me and say, "Hey, I've got a question from the audience, and can we stop you here?" And feel free. I'm happy to stop and start, whatever is most helpful. We did a social media presentation over the summer, and it was broad, and it was really about content, and at the end of the day, it is all about content, and Facebook is just one more channel, and I hope that everyone out there is using LinkedIn, and some of you, I'm sure, are using Twitter, and some of you, I'm sure, are using Google Plus and other channels. It's all about the content. But Facebook holds a lot of power because there's so many people there, and it feels like the golden ring that everyone's going for. So we asked people at the end of our social media presentation over the summer what else they wanted to learn about, what should we drill down on, and Facebook was overwhelmingly the response we got.
And
So
I just have one quick thing. Can you guys see the Keith's screen on here? I just want to make sure that you can see his picture as well. So just shoot a question there. Just give us a thumbs up or a yes that you can see the the screen sharing on his end. So yes, some people are saying they only have nope. Yes, some people are not seeing it, and some people are. Keith, your screen is being shared, I assume. Yes, I see it
uh,
on my end.
I believe so. Do you want me to try?
Yes, picture of both of us. People, yeah. Okay, it looks like the majority of you are saying that you can see us. I can see it as well. So it might be some saying that you have with the GoToWebinar panel. We
I'm
are def
seeing actually, Jeff. It says audience view. It says 98%. So I guess perhaps there are 2% that are not seeing it.
I'm not sure what that means. I don't know. I know that I'm seeing it, and most people are seeing us right now. And
Okay, let's
so
let's go forward, and this will be you'll give everyone the opportunity to see it uh,
yeah, it's being
afterwards as
recorded.
well
So
because it's being
yeah,
recorded. Correct?
great. Yes.
Okay. So we call this the Facebook secrets you already know because you all have the skills needed to be incredibly successful on Facebook. And I hope that today, with the tactics we give you, provided you implement them, we feel very confident that you will achieve the success that you would like to on Facebook. So for today's agenda, we're really looking at three secrets that we've isolated. Secret number one is about you. It's your story. Nobody can tell it better than you. And whether that's a secret or not, we're going to give you the tactics that help you tell your story in a way that's fascinating. All right. Secret number two is that you have all the tools. Like I said a moment ago, you do have the skills, and and with the right tactics, there's no reason to not get out there and swing the bat and hit a few over the fence. Secret number 3 is that as long as you use your skills and the tactics we give you, you will grow your practice and you will be successful. Facebook success, it feels a certain way, and it does something for you. When you're successful on Facebook and your page is successful, you won't really need the statistics to show you. You'll just feel it. But what it will do for you is that it will elevate your business above not just other practitioners, other CAM practitioners, but above other businesses in your local vicinity. And that's obviously something that's important in establishing a brand, is to stand out from everybody else. It's going to help you to heal more people, which is what you got into becoming a practitioner for in the first place. Everything that you achieve at your clinic, you can also achieve, not everything because the needling is rather important, but much of what you achieve in helping people with their mental health and having the right approach towards health. You can get those messages out, and Facebook success will allow you to do more of that. Your brand essence is something that Facebook success will help you to establish. When we say Mercedes-Benz, everybody has an idea of what that brand stands for, and that is that brand essence. And your clinic and you as a practitioner have a brand essence, and Facebook success will help you elevate that as well. When your brand essence is really something that you've honed in on, it will help you grow your practice, and it will create demand. Because at the end of the day, a lot of this is about reputation building, and it's reputation that will help create demand. So let's get to work. This is a little, what's the term called, phonetic, that we came up with to help you understand these 4 areas of tactics, and we call it THE. So tell your story. You're going to want to hold and host events. You're going to want to test your hypothesis. We ask you to hypothesize, which means that everything is experimental, and it's important that you take that approach towards your Facebook page, because you can have fun with it that way, and you can be scientific in that way. You try something out. If it works, you'll do more of it. If it does not work, you'll do less of it, and that's really how you're going to steer yourself towards success on Facebook. And then the last part of it is to entertain, and this part can be difficult for us. Not everybody is an entertainer. You didn't go into the entertainment business, but it's part of what you'll have to think about to be successful on Facebook, because to hold someone's attention, you'll need to entertain at least a bit. So the most important thing is to get out there and do it, and it's too easy to feel overwhelmed by this new media, which is experimental. It's too easy to feel that we don't have the answers, and it's too stressful to go at it, and we have to take a deep breath, and we have to push the stress aside, and we have to find a way to look at it as a fun experiment and move forward. So telling your story, as Jeff and I were discussing the different ways a practitioner could tell their story, I came up with the parallel of the Dr. Oz show. And I don't know how many of you watch the Dr. Oz show, but I will tell you this, and I don't watch anything really religiously, but I will say that whenever I watch that show, I'm amazed that I always learn something about the human body. And I think if I watched it every single day, I'm pretty sure I would learn something just about every day. And it's because of the way they present the information. And I think that each of you as practitioners, I know that you're constantly teaching people who are in your clinic. You can do the same thing on Facebook, and the information will be very attractive. But the Dr. Oz show, they use a lot of different visual cues to help people make the connection about what they're talking about. If they're talking about health, even if it's immune health, they might use something like a rubber band and show how if you don't take care of it, it becomes dried out, and you go to use it and it snaps, and there you have it. um, you can think of all kinds of analogies, and perhaps you do some of this already, but by demonstrating on your Facebook page with images and with words, think of yourself as a producer of a show, and and come up with different ways to tell the story.
I just have to say
Keeping an
one thing.
editorial calendar or
Mm,
following an editorial calendar is is a great tool. If
Keith,
you think of every month, did
I
you
just
want to
want,
jump in,
yeah,
Jeff?
I just want to say one thing. I think actually you mentioned Dr. Oz, and I think there's actually something coming up today or the next few days about acupuncture and Dr. Oz. So, I mean, one of the things to do is to look at these things that other people are doing, like Dr. Oz show, and piggyback on the currentness of what they're putting out there and repost things right away. So, I know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember seeing something actually even today on somebody's Facebook page that, oh, hey, Dr. Oz is going to be doing this, that, and the other thing about alternative medicine, and acupuncture is coming up in, either today or not tomorrow or sometime next week. But
Hmm.
I mean, I see a lot of information out there that people are republishing from other people like Dr. Oz and Andrew Weil and other institutes that kind
Wild.
of really,
Yeah.
a while, yes. So
Yeah. No,
anyway,
those guys are great, and those, I mean, these are trusted sources. They vet their information really well. So if you see something that you find attractive on a Dr. Oz page, on a Dr. Andrew Weil page, on another practitioner's page, by all means, sharing is what it's all about.
right. And I
But it's
actually
about being
just
discerning, right?
Right, and I just got confirmation from a viewer that it is actually happening today on the Dr. Oz show. So, you know, find it, post it, send it out to your people, put it on your Facebook page. But anyway, that's all I have to say right now. I'll jump in um, as
That's
I need
great.
to.
Thank you. I needed some water also, so that was a great time to jump in, Jeffrey.
Yeah, thank
Um, the editorial calendar, if you think about it, this is the way traditional media works, especially magazines. They tell advertisers in the beginning of the year what they're going to publish in which months. And as health practitioners, you're fortunate that there's every month has multiple conditions these days and causes that are attached to it, and you can tap into those, or you can create your own schedule of what monthly theme or themes you want to carry through. And what happens is that when you're operating your page, you sit down some days and you say, I really don't know what to say. And I'm a consultant who's done this for a fair number of years, and I find myself sitting down and say, I don't know what to say on behalf of this brand or this client. And that sometimes is your first thought. But if you really stop and think, and if you can reference what we're giving you here today, you'll realize there's a ton of things to say. Um, it would be you'd be hard pressed to not be able to find something to say. It's about finding good content, and if you think about these things we're telling you, you'll find good content. Editorial calendar is something you can plan. So if you say, you know what, October, every year October is Breast Health Awareness Month, and Susan B. Komen is the organization best known. Everything turns pink. They charge a lot of money for people to work with them and make things pink. But there's no reason in the world that you couldn't play on the pink theme all during the month of October and play on acupuncture and women's health, or acupuncture and breast health.
you.
But likewise, you could choose any month and say, this month I'm going to focus on acupuncture and smoking cessation.
I have something to say about that.
You might want to time it with the month that has National Smokeout Day, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Jeff, did you?
I'm not sure if you guys are, I mean, we've talked about these from Acupuncture Media Works quite often about National Health Observance Days. So, National Health Observance Days are days that are nationally recognized for specific conditions like quit smoking or back pain or insomnia or whatever it is. But if you Google, National Health Observance Day calendar 2013, you'll
Mhm.
see a list like every month there's something going on. And we've put together like specific kits, like,
Mhm.
that are meant to educate, patients around those specific conditions that we push out, each month. And I mean, basically, the idea is like like, yeah, when it is Quit Smoking Month, you could piggyback on that initiative that is going out nationally and start putting information out on your Facebook page. And when it's National Diabetes Week, you could do the same thing. So this calendar
Right.
is a great resource. What we could do is, if you guys want, we can find it and give you guys a link to that at the end of this training.
That would be great. And another thing, at this moment we have to mention there's two things we can be thinking about at this time of year that every practitioner will likely take an interest in. One is that October is when AOM week is, correct, Jeffrey? The October 20th through the 26th, I believe. And AOM Day falls within there.
Hmm.
So we can already be planning for that. We are, as Acupuncture Media Works, of course, we're pushing out the word. We want people. We did something about a bug in the ear, a meme that we posted the other day. We want people talking about AOM week, and I'm sure everyone does. It's the time for the acupuncturists to get the spotlight on them. Um, Likewise, as cold and flu season is coming near, it's a great time of year to be thinking about acupuncture and building immunity. So if you think about it, every year, National Heart Health Month is February. Uh, Prostate Awareness Month is November. So these are things that will give you some framework to use some thematic posts. So in a month where you're addressing that theme, you might want to post 4 times, 5 times in that month about that theme, and that takes care of a certain number of days for you, where it's timely, good content. Harvesting content is important for telling your story. I was telling people in our last webinar that it's important to think of yourself as a reporter. And fortunately, you're not only the reporter, you're the subject. So you're very fortunate. You've got great access to the subject. But as you do things throughout your life, and realizing that you're also going to be responsible for the direction of your Facebook page, think about what you're doing that would be of interest to your community, and especially teaching moments, which is the last bullet on this slide. So you might be going through something personally that you're willing to share that uh, that you're using acupuncture to overcome or to cope with, maybe herbs to cope with, maybe you're strengthening your own immunity. So things you're doing in your own life, you can harvest that content and make a teaching moment out of it. Humor obviously works. It's important, and it's another way to tell your story. You might want to poke fun at yourself. Self-deprecating humor is always safe and effective, typically. So if there's something you do that you think is funny because you're compulsive in this way, but at the same way, it also gets out the fact that you're compulsive about your health, and therefore you do this healthy thing, you're also teaching at the same time. And pictures are terribly important. We're all extremely fortunate to have cameras built into the device that we carry around with us night and day these days, not to mention video, and always be trying to figure out the next photo that you can capture that will help give you content that you want. So these are all tools for content. All right. Again, you already possess the skills. These are the tactics that we're teaching you. Okay. And you're very fortunate. It's your story.
And I
So
think
tell it.
one of the things about harvest.
Events. Now this is
I have one thing to say about harvesting content. It's really easy to go on to Facebook and see what your colleagues are posting and reposting, and just post and repost that. There is a ton of awesome content, even more content than I can ever imagine to find in a single day, that other people are tapping into. And it's just a matter of literally going out there looking, maybe spending 20 minutes a day, or even 20 minutes every few days, to look at what other people are putting up on their websites, and literally liking it and then sharing it and reposting it to your site. It's really simple. I mean, we're going to show you
right.
how simple it is to like and repost some
Right.
content towards the end of this video. It's just so easy.
Yeah, it's true, and that's using Facebook as a page that helps you do that. And you'll see we'll touch on that in at the end of the slides. And we're going to try to work through this relatively quickly. We know everyone's busy, but once we've finished through the slides, we're going to show you on our Facebook page how we go about using Facebook as a page and doing that kind of sharing. A lot of what we're trying to present to you today, though, actually is about creating your own content, and it's one thing to share, but it's really want you to have the tools to be a creator. So events are something that you really, I hope you're doing it anyway, or thinking about doing it, or trying to do it to grow your practice, because what better way to get people into your clinic space, new people that is, or even as a way to get patients in for kind of a patient appreciation event. So if you're not hosting events in your space, we certainly recommend you do. And if for some reason your space, you don't feel that's large enough for the number of people you would want to have, and an event can be 5 people, it could be 10 people. It's really up to you. But you could always co-host an event. Maybe you have a friend who's a chiropractor and has a great looking space, and you share the costs and you both promote, and the chiropractor actually brings in patients who get introduced to acupuncture, and your patients get introduced to this talented chiropractor, and it's a win-win. And that's about cross-pollinating too, which you'll see comes up in some slides here and
And
there.
I have something to say around that too. We've talked about them before, and there's a few really simple events that I could just rattle off to you guys that are really excellent to do. One of them is to do a patient appreciation day, and if you guys are not familiar with what a patient appreciation day is, we actually put up our ebook, which we normally charge for, but we're offering it for free on some of the AOM week videos that we've been putting out there. I don't know if you guys have seen the videos, but we put out a whole series of marketing videos for AOM week. And on the second video, one of the free downloads is for PAD, Patient Appreciation Day. Those are excellent events to host in your practice. And it talks, what Keith is talking about with regards to networking with other chiropractors. This is a great way to do that. Also,
Mhm.
putting on a 2022 technique, or even a happy hour event. I don't know if you guys
Mhm.
are familiar with putting on any acupuncture happy hour events, but that is a simple, awesome technique to do. And it's a kind of thing. It's an event that you can do regularly. You can just do it once a week, twice a month, at a
Mhm.
specific set time, and we're actually having a special on. We have a whole program and kit available for the 2022 technique and also for acupuncture happy hour. And we're doing a sort of blowout special on those for AOM week.
Mhm.
If you guys want, I can send you a link to the special pricing that we're offering on those. But offering, like hosting events in your practice is great because you're getting people in the door, they're getting to see you, they're getting to talk to you, and they're getting to sort of suss out your location. And
Right.
by offering a 2022 technique and a happy hour event are great ways to overcome needle phobia, introduce people to acupuncture, and give them a real taste of what acupuncture can do for them by helping to reduce stress and anxiety. So those are two things that I've used in my practice, extremely
Mhm.
successfully. And I mean, I can probably talk your ear off about how to do those, but all that information is in those kits that we put together that we're putting
Yeah.
on sale for the 2022 for the AOM
And,
week. Anyway.
and what I want to stress here also is that there's nothing that happens in cyberspace. There's nothing that happens in social media that really matters that much, except for how it affects us in the physical world. And you really, to be happening, to have a successful Facebook page, one of the best ways to do that is to have successful social practices in the physical world. So by having these types of by hosting an event, it gives you something to talk about. You get to promote it before it comes up, and you'll do that on your Facebook page. You get to report about it, take pictures at the event, get people's permission, to publish the pictures. and then you put together a photo album, and that's the content that we all want to see. I mean, when people post a photo album of something that happened that they created, and if there's you do the storytelling around it. Uh, Everybody wants to see inside the clinic, and it's a great way to bring people in, both virtually and physically.
And I
And
have
so we've got some ideas here. Have a tea tasting, have a coffee tasting, do a wine tasting. A therapeutic event is a great idea. And you might even want to promote it to patients and say, I really would like you to come to my event, but I really want you to bring somebody to introduce them to acupuncture too.
okay. I have two questions, two things. Somebody wants to know how to host an event. Somebody mentioned that hosting events requires help, and this practitioner works alone, as do a lot of practitioners, and they don't have an alpha staff. And hosting an event, that's a whole conversation. This is really about Facebook, and actually, some of you have mentioned that you want to learn more basic information about how to create a Facebook page and a professional page, and we're going to go into that. But
Uh-huh.
hosting events, that is a conversation that we can go into detail on, and I would rather kind of focus the energy on Facebook as opposed to hosting events. So, um,
Okay. And,
if
and about how to actually technically set up a page, um, it just seemed, we can do a separate webinar that is a real beginner's 101
on page
um,
setup, I think that's a great idea. Do you guys want that?
webinar. But I think if we did that, we would lose too many people who already have Facebook pages but are really looking for how to maximize their presence.
Okay, so why don't we do this? If you guys want us to do a separate webinar at some point on how to set up a Facebook page 101, just send us, just type something in the question box that says yes, 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 and we'll go
Yeah.
ahead and we'll get that scheduled for you.
And,
But
yeah, and
anyway,
we'll send around a questionnaire at the end too. There's a lot of different things that to take up a webinar. Even you'll see at some point we'll touch on sweepstakes or giveaways. That could be a webinar in itself as well. So we can't dive into everything, or this would be a full day event, and we would bore people who know too much. Um, so we can't. It's a hard thing to straddle.
agreed. So I just want to just get clear, for those of you who want to learn more about hosting events, what we could do is I do want some free coaching calls. If you guys want some free coaching calls, we'll send out an email at the end of this webinar, and there'll be a link on there if you guys want to sign up for a free 15-minute coaching call, and we can talk about sort of hosting events and things like that, or whatever it is that you might need help with in your practice. So um, we can
Okay.
cover some of that stuff then. Okay.
Oh, all right. So and then we're going to move on with the tactics. So there's, telling your story attractively. There's hosting events so that you're happening in the physical space as well as in the digital space. It gets easy to do in the digital space if you're doing it in the physical space, and you need to do it both places really to grow your practice anyway. Um, and then here's the fun part is to hypothesize. So it's all experimental. Social media is so new, and that's why a lot of people are having trouble with it in many different forms. Certainly, Facebook, it is trial and error, and that's what this is about. Do different things. I mean, if you take nothing away from this webinar today except for one concept, that concept should be to do to just to do something, to do something original and creative, and do and keep doing it. It'll work. You will grow. You'll get better at it, and you will grow your practice. Um, just as you becoming a better clinician every day. That's the way it is. If you do Facebook, you will become better at Facebook. So I hope that we can inspire you to be doing that. And that's why we don't want to be overly technical. It's not technical. It's about taking social skills, which you already have because you're social in your everyday life, but showing you how to use those social skills via this media, this medium, with the case of Facebook. So interviewing other health professionals, we think is a great idea, be they other CAM professionals or They could be Western medical professionals. It could be, you'll also find you might want to interview people who are just local business people. If you're in a center and you socialize every day with people who are in your building or in the center that you're at, um, these are great fodder for people that you can share information about them on your Facebook page, and they can do the same for you as well. So there's some great. The last bullet says cross-pollinate businesses. We're constantly doing this in our business. I know Jeff does it all the time, and I do it all the time, which is that the idea of generating business is about seeing who you can help and be helped by. There's a lot of give and take. So collaboration is huge. Review a product goes back to the part about, well, gosh, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to post about my clinic today. Well, it's not always about the clinic or about a healing modality. Sometimes it should just be about a part of life that reflects about you. I have a hunch that every one of you listening is a really, really interesting person. I just think people are interesting in general, and I'll bet you that people in your community are interested in knowing more about you, and knowing what you think about different things in the physical world. So if you've got a piece of clothing you bought that is your favorite, if you have a hemp shirt that just feels great because it breathes so nicely and it's so durable, and you want to share about that and talk about how the store at the corner is where you got it and it's a really cool store, you're giving them a shout out, maybe they'll do the same for you in your business. But it's also interesting content. If you are a foodie and you have come across a product that you like to buy that's healthful, if you know how to make a great quinoa recipe, if you can introduce maybe people in your community to what quinoa is and the fact that it's a grain but it's got all this protein in it, and get some nutritional advice out there, that's terrific. You could do something as crazy as test driving a car and telling people what you thought about it. Maybe they're interested in that. You just don't know, and this is part of the testing process. Believe me, if you did each of the things that we're talking about on this page, some of it will work really well. So it's about taking the effort to do it. Giveaways and sweepstakes is something I think that we will have a separate webinar about one of these days. I will just tell you this: sweepstakes are a lot harder because the sweepstakes, according to Facebook's official rules, you have to run them through a third party in order to be totally compliant. A lot of people don't, but if you see people who say, if you see people who say, hey, like this and share this, and I'm going to randomly pick one of you to be the winner, that's not really the way Facebook wants you to do it. They theoretically could take down your page for doing that. So you have to be a little bit more careful about that. Giveaways, I think, are different than sweepstakes, and they're definitely more lenient. And if you buy a really cool teapot and you want to buy another one and offer it to somebody who answers a trivia question on your Facebook page, that is something that's very easy and simple to do, and really cool. And I think it's something you could run it over a day or two and see what kind of interest you generate, and it's really a fun thing to do. So play with it. The bottom line is that there's nothing you can break. And this is into the entertainment part, and this is really the hardest part of, I'd say, of social media and of Facebook for most people. The bottom line is that we're not all entertainers, we're not all extroverts, and we're not all great visual storytellers. And one place where I think it makes sense to get some help periodically is in design. And design is what really works on Facebook. If you're not familiar with the term meme, a meme is really a term that just means shareable content. But at the end of the day, what it's become to mean on Facebook is these graphic images, designs. You've probably seen them, where it says just relax and do something, or somebody might start with something, don't tase me, bro, which was a crazy incident that happened years ago, and people took that saying and matched those words to different images it became a thing amongst the young kids, and that kind of started this meme craze. But for most of us sane people, the idea about doing a meme that's fun and cool, it's really just about taking an image. It could be a stock photography, or it could be using somebody's got some design skill and taking words and using really interesting font. It might be mixing them together, or it might just be one or the other. But at the end of the day, it's about taking a strong visual element and matching words to it. And memes are really terrific. And you might want to think about getting a graphic designer to do some part-time work for you, just so that you can create your own entertaining um, content. One thing we're trying to teach you here is just give you different ideas so that you can be a contributor to this space on Facebook. To win on Facebook, you can't always just share really cool content from somebody else. So at times, it's kind of like going to parties. To be social, it's great to go to parties, and every once in a while you need to host one too. And that's how it is with your Facebook page. It's great to share great content that somebody else is putting out there, but once in a while, it's really great to pick up the creative stick yourself and contribute to what works on Facebook. So
I have a
if you,
I have
yep,
to. So also again, we've been putting out a bunch of memes. We've been building a bunch of really great memes for
mhm,
AOM week specifically, and other things. I don't know if you guys have seen our Facebook page, but we've got a bunch of really great memes there that you can go and click on and share and like. And I actually we're gonna go to our Facebook page later, right? So
yep,
you guys will
we
be able to
are.
see some of those memes, but also we've included on those videos that I mentioned earlier. There's what 5 or 6 memes that we made available for you guys to download and use, you know, on your own social media pages. So again,
Right.
you guys have those. We'll send you a link with those as well, so, at the end here.
I'm glad you brought that up, Jeffrey, because this is something that Jeffrey and I have been talking about a lot, is that acupuncture media work wants to really help practitioners have the digital tools that they need. We've always had a lot of really great looking print tools, and our websites are obviously highly successful. But in the area of social media, we realize that if we can help you with some of these design needs by putting out some really cool things that also spread the word about acupuncture. And Acupuncture Awesome is a theme we've been working off of. And obviously, we're promoting AOM Week as much as we can. And feel free to use us as a resource and come to our Facebook page. And anything that you like is yours to keep. So, you can share it from our page. You can download it and upload it yourself. Do whatever you want. But there's a lot of cool content that we're going to keep putting out there. We've been developing a lot of great things lately. But other ways you can entertain and use your own skill set. If you know how to do a great yoga pose and you want to demonstrate it, if you want to share a recipe because you have those skills, use your talents. That's the thing that will set you apart and help you and jive with what you're good at. So we say you have the skills and that these are the secrets you already know. What we mean is you have the talents. Take those talents and create tactics that utilize them. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be your own talent. Maybe you've got a friend with a talent who'd be willing to come into your clinic and whip out their acoustic guitar and play a really cool song, or paint a Chinese character, or do something that would be just really nice to see. And just the picture of it along with the story, if it were something like the Chinese character, or a video of the song, it can really go a long way and be terrific content. It could be terrifically viral. And that's really what you're always kind of shooting for, is can you create some content that is yours that goes viral. And again, you might even want to make recommendations. People are interested in what you're interested in, or they want to know what you're interested in. And if you happen to be a movie buff, or someone who loves the theater, or music, and you can lend some insight, by all means, that's helpful too. It's about better living, and it's health, but it's also about everything else in life. So here's an example of a meme we created that has been shared I don't know, 50 something times last I looked at it. It's on our Facebook page, and in a handful of moments we'll go to our Facebook page and take a look, and I'll show you where it lands there. But it's been shared and shared and shared, and this is something. And again, we're very fortunate. We've got talented designers on staff, so we should be creating memes nonstop, and we're starting to. So if this is something that's not in your skill set to create, this is where you might want to use someone like a designer, or again, feel free to take whatever memes we're putting out there that you think help get the word out, and will be attractive for you and your practice.
I have a
Um,
question. I'm just wondering.
People are always telling you what to do, and some. Go ahead.
Oh, I just wonder what people think about memes. I mean, you've seen memes all over the place, all over Facebook, and I mean, what do you guys think about sharing these kind of things? Do you find, are you looking to share, if you are interested in memes, are you looking for memes that are more research related, study related, symptom specific, or funny or humorous? I mean, what would interest you to want to potentially share on your Facebook page that would go out to your people on your page? And the whole idea with memes is to get people to share them and like them, and then their friends see that they liked them. And I mean, the whole idea with Facebook is to get other people to like your page ultimately, so other people see that, and then you could, generating patients in that way. So I don't know.
Right.
I think memes are great. I think go on.
Jeff, and memes are becoming more and more popular, and you can see there are some people who just do nothing but post memes, and sometimes that will get kind of stagnant too. So you really want balance, just like everything else in life, right? So some great design elements that communicate messages like memes do, whether they're funny or they're profound, are definitely helpful, but in a healthy dose. And then at other times, people need to see you telling your story. They need to see inside the clinic. They need to see that you saw a double rainbow outside of your door.
Right. And I agree. And I think so too. But I mean, a couple of people responded already. They want to see some funny memes. And I just want to know, is a funny meme something that has to do with any acupuncture needles? Because I think that I'm just trying to just sort of get a pulse on where funny memes and acupuncture sort of coincide. It almost seems like, I don't know.
But
I mean, this is
Jeffrey, weren't
probably
we supposed to do weren't we supposed to do cheer me up, Scotty?
cheer me up, Scotty. Yes, that is a funny meme. Uh-huh. But yeah, I don't know. I think of putting out the message about acupuncture and using sort of needles as part of it, but I also think that using needles as part of it can also scare potential people away. So I don't know, just some insight. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, well, I think you make a great point. You have to be careful, not to put out the wrong type of message that if you think it's funny that people view the needle as giant, and you have a meme that shows this giant needle, yes, on one hand it might be kind of funny and kind of clever, but on the other hand it really could um, not necessarily be helping you. It's really just increasing the fear, because people who have fears they might not see it as funny. They might see it as, that's exactly right. That makes sense. Um,
Yeah, that makes perfect
all right,
sense.
so Jeffrey, I'm gonna move on here. Yeah, so again, I think at times it's important for us not just to tell you what to do, but tell you a handful of things not to do, so that you say, gee, now I know. Obviously, the first one is obvious, but it needs to be top of mind, because at times it's easy to feel, well, gee, if I'm just posting, someone's going to see it, and that means I'm getting my marketing out, and it's better than not posting. And that's not necessarily true. So don't post anything that everything doesn't have to be incredibly profound or incredibly interesting, but it has to be at least interesting to the point that you feel good about it. And post less frequently and post better content. And don't worry about, gosh, I haven't posted anything in 5 days, I better post. Well, if you haven't posted anything in 5 days, you might want to post, but then that means spend 20 strong minutes looking for something excellent to post. But if you spend 20 minutes and you don't have any more time than that, and there is nothing excellent to post, try again later or tomorrow. It will come to you, but be patient. Um, so do not obviously publish a patient story without consent. Um, at times, patients will actually post things on your page, and I know at times people get concerned about HIPAA violations, and I think if somebody offers something up into the public space, and there's been debate about this, but the truth is that when someone offers up that kind of content, it's really, it seems to be quite acceptable. I say do not pay a guru to tell your story for you, and I'm somebody who's gotten paid to tell a lot of people's stories for them. But what I mean to say is that if you pay somebody, they can only do good work for you if you spend time with them. So if you only have a little bit of time to spend or a little bit of money to spend, be very wise about how you spend your money. And if you think that you can buy somebody taking this job off your hands, you're wrong. Nobody can do this for you. Only you can tell your story beautifully. Even if someone tells it for you, you'll then have to spend time to tell them what it is they're telling. So at the end of the day, I think that for an acupuncture practitioner, I think that people really want to hear things straight from you. I think that your money might be very well spent on design elements, whether you pay a designer to create things for you, or whether at some point in the future Acupuncture MediaWorks creates some really great content that you can buy that's visual, then great. I shouldn't say create some, we obviously created a lot of great content. I mean new digital content in the meme fashion. Anyway, obviously do not publish anything negative. And this, even being cheeky, and I'm all for taking a little bit of risk to be funny, but not when it comes to something that can be taken as negative. Don't ever vent about how incredibly bad your day is unless there's some kind of upside to it that you think compensates for just being a venter. People don't really need more negativity, and they definitely don't want it out of their health practitioner. So I think you probably already know that bullet, but I just have to put it in there. And don't the people who I unfollow are people who post too often in any given day. If I follow a page because I see something really cool and I say, oh my gosh, I like these people, I want to see what they do, and then next thing I know, they posted something 5 minutes later, and then 10 minutes later, and then they keep posting. I say, well, gosh, I just caught the one moment where I was introduced to them where they posted something cool, but they post stuff nonstop, and it's really annoying. They're hogging up your news feed. So here's what I think the most important thing you can do to be successful on Facebook is please yourself. If you can do things on Facebook that you think are good, if you publish content to your page that you are proud of, I say you're 90% done, you're at least 90% done. So believe me, if you think it's good content, it's good content. You'll be a terrific barometer for your own Facebook page. If you think you're putting up mediocre content, you're probably putting up mediocre content. So think about that third bullet. Be wonderful. You do need to be wonderful on Facebook. It's very, very noisy out there. Obviously, everybody's doing it. Fortunately, many people are doing it poorly. It's fortunate because you can, by doing it well, you can certainly stand out from the crowd. But it takes thinking about these things that we're telling you today, these tactics that allow you to do it well. A lot of people don't stop and think of these different ways to tell their story that's attractive, or of the fact that they need to do things in the physical world that are attractive, and post those things on their cyberspace. So you can't always just make something out of nothing. Be an interesting person and let it shine. And we and everybody should give you immense respect for trying. So really, at the end of the day, it's like dancing. Just go out and dance. You don't want to be one who sits there and doesn't do it and says, well, gee, I don't think I'm a good dancer. Well, if you don't dance, you're not a good dancer. If you dance, you're probably okay. Real quickly, some Facebook tactics, and we're going to soon look at our Facebook page, and we'll look at some of these. But hashtags. So any string of characters following a pound sign is a hashtag. It becomes a hyperlink. You can click it and see a news feed of everything else, everyone else who has published content with that hashtag. At times it can just be kind of silly and fun, and it's really not for search. And other times it's for search. So you might want to do pound acupuncture in some of your posts, and people then who are looking for acupuncture specifically might click on a hashtag, or just do a search for acupuncture, and the acupuncture hashtags will show up. It's a good way to be found. So memes are like little billboards, and think of them as such. You don't want too much content on there where somebody has to read and read and read. Think about it in terms of if they were driving by and had a moment to glance, could they get the headline and stop, and make them think of something? You can always explain more from there. So I say pay little attention to your weekly page update, and there are people who might think differently, and if you really love numbers and statistics, you might want to drill down and see, gosh, I did really well with this, I didn't do as well with this. The reason I say pay little attention is that they send it to you every single week, and if you do something, if you have some great content that gets shared a lot and interacted with a lot, that following that, the next page update you get says, oh, look at the green arrows, you're going up. And then the next week, you might just be good and not as great as that. And you've got red arrows. They're telling you red arrows, hey, you're going down. And, it's in Facebook's interest to make you run on a wheel like like a gerbil, and just generate content for Facebook. At the end of the day, again, what's good content and bad content. I don't think you need to worry about your weekly page update. It's also too frequently. It's one thing if they gave it to you monthly or quarterly, which is about how often you might want to be looking from above and considering statistics, but weekly is way too close. So share good content. We're going to show you that in a moment. Use Facebook as a page. When look at other practitioners, look at people you admire, and if something makes you laugh, something you think is really great and clever, and you think your community will enjoy it, then by all means share. When I say share from your page wall to your wall, another great way to get exposure for your Facebook page, and we're talking obviously about your company page, is that when you are going to post a recipe, or when you're going to post pictures from the event you just had, which was your acupuncture happy hour, don't post that album of pictures on your profile page, on your regular Facebook page, to show all your friends. This is something that's related to your business. So post it on your clinic page, on your business page, on the wall there. Then from there, using Facebook as yourself and not as a page, you can share it from there onto your profile wall to share with your social connections. And your social connections will see it, and they'll also see it was shared from your company page, and some of them will say, oh, I didn't realize that he or she has a company page. Or let me go take a look over there. Wow, isn't this cool? I should like the page. Promote your page everywhere. So do it on your website, do it in your newsletters, do it when you're talking to people. Ask them to check out your page. When you have an event and you take some photos and people say, oh, send me those photos. Say, I'm going to post this to the page. Go to the page and you can download it or wherever. I can send it to you too, but I really want you to go to my page and make sure you like my page. Make sure you share it. Make sure you tell your friends.
I think one
And
thing that's
yep.
really good too is if and we put one out, a free PDF a while ago about it's just a poster. It's just a like me poster. Basically, it's just a little poster that you put up on your desk or near in your treatment table or on wherever it is that people can see it, and it says, please like me. That's all. Please like me. Go to my Facebook page. A lot of patients don't even think about that. They don't. But if you can kind of give a little bit of a nudge in that direction, then you'll get them to like you. And the whole reason for them to like you is so other people, their friends and family members or coworkers, can see that
Mm-hmm.
and kind of be like, oh, that's the acupuncturist that, she or he was talking about, and then they might reach out to you. So again, I will include that link to that free poster that we put out.
Yeah, and Jeffrey, another thing we should probably ask in the poll that we'll do afterwards is if people are interested in more technical information, third-party applications, because I know that we've used some third-party applications in the past that have helped us grow our page as well.
Yeah, yeah, we've actually used a bunch of third-party applications for liking, like me applications, and
Hmm.
that's something that there's a fee
It's
to
something we'll
it.
cover now.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll
there's a
definitely need to cover that.
yeah, for sure. Okay.
Okay, but again, in this one, I just wanted to this one's really about helping people understand that you have these skills and you need and you really want to develop these tactics. So we're coming toward the end of the presentation, but we are going to take you to our Facebook page in a moment. So we just want you to know that we love your feedback. We love you joining us today. Thank you so much. This is our second social media webinar, and our first Facebook webinar. We can do more webinars about Facebook. We can do webinars about LinkedIn, about Google Plus, about Pinterest, anything. So we'll be asking for your feedback, and we can drill deeper on any of the things that we've spoken about today. And we really hope that we're encouraging you. I can tell you that every single webinar we do, we're going to let you know that as long as you're trying, you are succeeding. So keep trying, okay? Um, and I'm just going to show you, I know real quickly, I know you hate when this goes to my desktop, Jeffrey, but let me get to our Facebook page and make this larger. All right, so everyone is seeing our Facebook page, and well, actually, they're seeing our news feed. Here's our Facebook page, and what I really want you to see is that when you first get to the Facebook page, and let me toggle back. So here, this is me, and here is Acupuncture Media Works. All right, so I'm an administrator of the page. So when I get to my page, and all of you who have pages, you get to your page, and you're seeing it as yourself, and that you are who you are. You're Dave, you're Mary, or whomever, but you're also the administrator. But that's if you can post something, and by default it's going to post as the Facebook page, but that's not the same as using Facebook as a page. So using Facebook as a page means clicking up top here and scrolling down to your page. Uh, sorry, I have a bunch of different pages, and I just got the wrong one. But this is by clicking there. Now, most of you, if you only manage one page, when you click there, it's only going to give you one option, so you won't make a mistake like I just did. But now you see this character up here. When I just came here as myself, even though I'm at this page and it knows I'm the administrator and I can post something as the page, if I navigated away from this page, I was just myself. I was just Keith. Now if I navigate away from this page, I am Acupuncture Media Works. I'm using Facebook as a page. And what that means is that if I hit the home feed here, now if I was not using Acupuncture Media, if I was not using Facebook as the page, if I hit the home button, I would get my normal news feed of my friends and the pages I follow with that news feed. But what I'm going to get here when I hit the home feed is a feed of all the pages that we like. Okay, this is really important because having a news feed like this of all the pages that we like, and by the way, if you want us to like your page, please just send us a note, ask us, post something, post on our page, say, please like my page, please share something cool from my page that I've just created. We'll be happy to do it. But you see, so here's the Florida School of Holistic Living. They added a photo. We can go, if we like that, it's going to like it as Acupuncture Media Works. So what does that mean? It means that we're getting out there in the world. And somebody else might go to the Florida School of Holistic Living and see this and say, who are these people who liked this thing? Oh, wow, Acupuncture Media Works. Who are they? I'm curious about them. And they click on it, and sure enough, they're at our page. So that's an important thing to use. Remember, it's the wheel up top here that lets you toggle between using Facebook as yourself and using Facebook as a page. Let me show you. Here's a meme that we put here the other day about AOM week. Okay, and feel free to share this. We've had a few people share this since, I don't know if it was put up there yesterday or 2 days ago. Here's something we shared from somebody else about the maternity ward. I thought that was funny. It says push and then push with an exclamation point and then really push. But here's the example we wanted to show you about what we had in the about the meme that we had in the presentation. So this is it. She is great. We posted this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. I guess it was September 13th, and 63 people have actually shared it. And if I click on that, it shows you who has shared your post, and that's really cool. And you know, a lot of the people who shared the post got some interaction, and it shows you that even. And I'll show you something interesting. So this page called Acupuncture Professional shared this post on their page, and it got shared 15 times from their page. So what that shows you is the viral nature of doing something like a meme, a good meme, a fun meme that people really obviously, this one obviously resonated with people. And we'll do some that are less successful, and that's the whole trial and error thing. At the end of the day, if you're running a page that makes you happy, when we look at things and share things, I'll frequently share when I see a clinic showing pictures of the inside of their clinic. I think that's fascinating. I absolutely want to know what your treatment rooms look like. Bringing me inside your clinic through cyberspace is exactly what social media is all about. Jeffrey, do we have questions? Because I think I'm sorry. You know, one more thing too. In what I posted today, here's a hashtag. That's the Facebook hashtag. So if I click that, I'll get a feed of everybody who posted something that included, including our own, that included Facebook in their post. Okay. Now you can do this with acupuncture by putting pound acupuncture in your post and coming up. And let me see if we did that somewhere here too, because you'll see if I click on acupuncture, and interestingly, it gives you another hashtag that they believe to be related, and it gave you depression here. But here I can find another way to find really cool content from other acupuncturists by use of hashtag. Jeffrey?
Yep, great. Hi, Keith. Yep. So yeah, we do have a few
Hi.
questions, and a couple of the questions that came through. And okay, so are we going to go into the Q&A portion right now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Somebody said like our page, and I just felt obliged to do it
Okay.
right
Talk about
here
that. Talk
now,
about the immediacy
just to prove
of,
to people that.
right. Are you still there, Keith? Hello?
Jeffrey, I'm sorry. The immediacy of what?
Just the immediacy of social media and the internet, right? Someone just said, "Hey, like me," and there we are, right? We just liked them like that, fast.
Oh, absolutely,
It's awesome.
absolutely.
Um, so if you guys have any questions, if you want to, there's a couple questions that came in, and if you have a question that you want to verbally ask us, raise your hand in the hand raising section, and I will call upon you shortly. But right now, one of the questions that came in is, how does one post pictures, articles from the web?
From the web, pictures or articles?
Yeah, it's a pretty easy, just copy and paste, right?
Sure. Well, there's a number of different ways. So if it's not embedded in Flash, you can take a picture usually and right-click on it if you're a PC user. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly Mac what you do, but anyway, if you right-click on it, you can do a save as, and you save the image, and provided that it's that image isn't, it doesn't have some sort of copyright attached to it where you're theoretically not supposed to share it, and most things don't on the internet. But provided that it's something you can share, you download it to your desktop or elsewhere, and then you upload it. So is that correct? Now the thing is, if you find an image that is what I do, if I find an image that I want to share that won't allow me to do that because it's somehow embedded, you can do a screen capture. If you know how to do that, do a screen capture and and that'll just take a picture of your whole screen, and I'll then actually paste it into. I'll then manipulate that image to crop it down to just have the part of the screen that has the picture, and I've gotten the picture anyway.
Right. Okay. I think that's hopefully that answered the question there. It's pretty straightforward. You can just copy paste, and sometimes Facebook. Keith, do you want to do a quick one? Maybe there actually is I don't know. You could just do a quick little rendition. You just go to maybe Dr. Oz. There is actually something on Dr. Oz page right now. I looked about
Okay,
acupuncture. So yeah, Dr.
so
Oz.
let's do it. So here's probably the Dr. Mehmet Oz, probably the Dr. Oz show.
Yeah.
Um, so again, we're using acupuncture. Now when you see a page like this, it's not really the company or business page. This is called a community page, and it even says here this page was automatically generated based on what Facebook users are interested in. They basically take information from Wikipedia, does Facebook, and automatically makes pages like that. But let me go back here for Dr. Oz, and I guess from Dr. Mehmet Oz. Yeah. So um, did you say that there is? Oh,
There was I saw it on there was I don't know the specific one about acupuncture. I saw it on a different page. But maybe you could just do just like
okay.
the one on pickles. I like pickles. Pickles are good. You
So, by the way, I love this guy Gary Vaynerchuk. He is a social media expert. He's actually a guy from New Jersey, Jeffrey, who's uh, had his parents had a wine store named Wine. I forget what it's called, but he started an online business called Wine Library. Anyway, this guy, being a normal human being, was like one of the first guys to get to about 1 million Twitter followers, and just because he's very dynamic. But he started reviewing wines on the internet way before social media. Um,
so do a quick share
okay.
and we'll take the other questions.
Oh, just do a quick share from anyone's page, essentially.
Or could do a quick share from his page so people could just that we can answer the
Okay.
question.
I'd rather do it from one of our people. I'll do it from our home feed and do it from someone in the acupuncture world who's
There
mostly
you
who
go.
we follow.
Okay.
Um, and so, all right, so to share, let's just go down. Okay. Anyway, sharing is easy. I mean, it's just you click on the share button. All right, and again, it's because we are logged in as Acupuncture Media Work because we're using Facebook as a page, so we can say something, uh, example of share. Okay, and we'll share this photo. So this is how easy it is to share. Let me go back to our page, but I'll show people that the reason why we have a great news feed is that because we follow lots and lots of pages. So it's really all about this. It's about the fact that we, as Acupuncture Media Works, we go to a page, and if we're not already following it, and it's about somebody in the industry, we will go and follow your page. We like all these pages, and because we like all these pages of different acupuncturists and organizations, and healthy living, and and yoga studios, this is why in schools, this is why we have a great news feed when we're logged in. When we're using Facebook as a page and we hit the home button, we're getting a news feed coming from what's being posted on these pages that we like. Right? We like these pages as us.
Right.
Good.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, if
Other
there aren't any other questions, let's wrap it up. It's been, I hope that
Well, there's a couple other questions.
sure.
Somebody wants to know where to find articles to post, and that's easy. I would say just Google. You can go to Google Scholar, literally go to Google Scholar and type in acupuncture, and you'll see some articles that you could post about acupuncture. Again, look at our colleagues. What to go to Facebook, type in Facebook under the search bar, type in acupuncture, and see what other practitioners are posting, and just repost that stuff. That's really easy stuff right there.
Hmm.
Um,
Follow the schools, follow Acupuncture Today.
yep,
I mean, you know, I say follow, use Facebook as a page, like those pages of those organizations. I'm sure you know of practitioners in the field who you have incredible respect for, and you'll want to follow those people, and they'll be posting articles that you know are vetted and you can trust, and you can share those, um, or do what Jeffrey said as far as sourcing your own.
right. Um, So let's see. And one other question before we go to the live questions is, I think you covered it a little bit, but how do you like other people's posts as your business page name? I think
Okay.
you covered that.
I think that's what I just showed. So again, just realize all you need to do to use Facebook as your page is click up here. It's going to get. This is because I'm already using it as a page that it's giving me myself as an option. But if I were logged in with myself and I clicked up here, it would say, "Do you want to use it as Acupuncture Media Works?" And I say, "Yes, I do." Now,
Awesome.
if I like a post, I like it as the page.
Okay. So I am going to go take some calls. There's a few people raising their hand. I am going to reach out to Rebecca. So Rebecca, I'm going to unmute you. If you wish to speak, feel free to do so right now. Hi, Rebecca.
You know what, Jeffrey, I actually don't have a question. It was way back at the beginning of the seminar when I was trying to ask something or answer a question.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you. I will move on to the next one. Okay, Scarlett. Let's see. You've got your hand raised there. Let's see if you've got any questions out there. Scarlett? Hello, Scarlett. Hi, Scarlett. We can sort of barely hear you. If you can you speak up a little bit? You have a microphone there? Your headset's plugged in. Do you want to maybe just type in your question and then we can answer it that way? I mean, I can hear you slightly. If you want to just, I can reiterate it.
Is that any better?
Oh, yes, that's better.
Okay,
That's nice.
I
Yeah.
had it in the wrong jack.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so my question is, I am creating a Facebook page on behalf of my practitioner, and I don't know if I have it set up right, because what I did is I had to create, the name of our company is Best Acupuncture,
Best.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, BEST Acupuncture.
Mm-hmm.
But that first one there, that's an old one. Um,
Now that's people, right?
it
So,
it should
mm-hmm.
actually be Best Acupuncture and Herb Center because there was one already created a while ago, and the person
Mm-hmm.
that created it had left, and we couldn't
Mm-hmm.
get in. So that one right there is the one I'm currently using, the Best Acupuncture and Herb Center.
Yeah, you make first of all, you're making a really great point. This is something every practitioner really needs to think about this. Every practitioner needs to be their own page administrator, even if they have somebody great like you doing it for them. Because if somebody leaves, like the person, so you've got a little bit of a mess because somebody went down the wrong path, and then they're was left. So now for you to get that, are you wondering how to even how to get rid of the?
Well, what I was thinking is, I would think eventually after we had more likes and more people visiting the page, that the other one would kind of go to the bottom. But
Right.
I'm not 100% sure. So, um,
It
but
will.
but I guess what my point is, like that Best Acupuncture and Herb, I created it as our page,
Mm-hmm.
and when I went to your Acupuncture Media Works and tried to share that, what do you call it,
The meme,
the
maybe.
memes, and
Mm-hmm.
it didn't show up, but it showed up on the main page of Best Acupuncture.
Okay. So maybe are you logging in then as you're not logging in as yourself. You're logging in as that user. Is that correct?
Yeah, because what I had to do is I created a main page, and then off of
Mm-hmm.
that I created, I guess you call a business page or a.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it up and tell you exactly what it says. So if I go to the home page, it says Best Acupuncture, and then under Favorites, it says Best Acupuncture and Herb, which is like another page off of that, and it says Admin Panel.
Right. So as the administrator, you are. I'm saying, so when you begin the whole process and you're not logged into Facebook, you're logging into Facebook as an entity other than yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah. Like my name is Scarlett, and I have my own personal page and everything like that. I set this up for my boss because we wanted to create one for him to work from. So we have the Best Acupuncture, and then off of that, to differentiate, I made it Best Acupuncture and Herb.
Right.
So when I log in, yes, I log in as a complete, not myself, but the business.
So just so you know, I mean, what I would recommend you can at least consider. I know a lot of people maybe think, well, it's work, and I don't want to have my personal profile attached to it. Nobody knows who's administering the page unless you make it so. Like by default, you can't see who's the page admin. So you really are supposed to use Facebook by logging in as Scarlett, just as you normally would with your friends and whatnot, nothing to do with work. But then you should be made an administrator of the Best Acupuncture and Herb page that we're looking at. And this way you can just log in as yourself, or and then you would be able to, and then you can toggle between yourself and using Facebook as the page by using this button up here.
Right, and I had thought about that, but then my other thought was, well, what if someday, I were to leave the business, then someone else could pick up and not log into my personal Facebook. You know what I mean? Like if something's already created for Best Acupuncture, I didn't want it to have anything to do with my personal self because I may not be there someday.
Right, and that's why please make sure that that the owner of the business becomes an administrator of the page, because if you choose to leave, because that person needs to be in the power of their, in control of their own page's destiny. There's a lot of value here. What if you grow this to 5,000, fans, and if you leave someday, they shouldn't be left handcuffed. So what happens is someday when you say, oh, I'm leaving and I'm going to do my own thing, they make somebody else an admin of the page. You can stop being an admin of the page and not be connected to it anymore.
Right.
But you know what I mean? But I'm sorry,
so.
but I hope I so. And also I think you're confusing yourself now, because now you're logging in as Best Acupuncture, the made up individual. It's not really an individual, and then you have to toggle over to Best Acupuncture, the page that we're looking at, and it's confusing you. And so you shared when you shared on me, you weren't using Facebook as a page, and you didn't share the meme onto Best Acupuncture and Herb, which is what you wanted to do. Instead, you shared it onto the make-believe individual named Best Acupuncture's page. So that's where it landed. So even if you continue to do it the way you're currently doing it, you'll just need to toggle up here and click and make sure that when you want to share something onto the company page, that you've got the company's page name up here.
Yeah, because if I click on it, Best Acupuncture and Herb, it does say you are posting, commenting, and liking as Best Acupuncture and Herb, change to Best Acupuncture.
But that's not the toggle. See, that's the toggle as far as just being able to quickly be either liking as the page. That's a different way of liking something on the page as yourself or as the page. But you actually have to do it either up here, really up here, and toggle in order to have this part become Best Acupuncture and Herb. And again, when you toggled, if it was between Scarlett and Best Acupuncture and Herb, your life would be less complex, because up here it would say Scarlett normally until you toggle this way. Do you know what I mean? So there's the other part that lets you toggle about what you're just posting on the page as you or the page, but it's this part where you actually click on there and use Facebook as, which is the top thing there, and do it that way, where you'll see that you're using Facebook as a page, and as the page you can like other pages, you can share from other pages onto the page.
Okay.
Is that making sense?
I guess I'd have to play around with it. Not really, but I really don't want to take up everybody else's time.
Okay.
So,
okay. Well, feel free to shoot an email if you like, and we can, continue to address it.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
confusing you, but it would be less confusing to you if you can right now, you can make Scarlett an admin of the page, and then just forget about this other admin and log in as Scarlett and toggle between the two, and you will not get confused.
Okay. All right, I'll see what I can do, and if I have any questions, maybe I can instead email you.
Give us, that's great.
Thank you for your help. I appreciate
You're welcome. Thank you.
There's one more question that came in, and that's all we will have time for. This question is wondering what the difference is between posting as an individual on a page. Excuse me. And oh wait, Scarlett, I'm gonna actually mute you again. There's a lot of background noise. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So the question is wondering what the difference is between posting as an individual on a page and posting as a business as far as the tone that a person's setting. He goes on to say that he practices alone and he wants to establish his business. Does he want to establish his business or his personal name? Because right now he says his personal name carries more weight and that his business is brand new, and he wants to know how to integrate the two.
Well, that's a great question. I think that if he feels that his personal name carries more weight, has more brand value than his business, and if he's always going to want to be building, there's nothing wrong with building his name and letting that be his company presence. That he can. So for Dr. Oz, right? Even though there's the Dr. Oz show, and they could have named the page the Dr. Oz show, they named it Dr. Oz. Even though right now his main thing is the Dr. Oz show, because they know someday maybe he doesn't want to do the Dr. Oz show anymore, or he names it something else. Then he doesn't want to lose that audience. So there's nothing wrong with a practitioner building it on his own name. Now the only problem is that someday he might, if he's building a practice that maybe someday he'd want to sell, the practice will have more value if he's got 5,000 fans that are fans of the practice, whereas if they're all fans of him personally, he won't have that equity in the practice. Or if he partners with somebody, he'll have to be starting from scratch to build the name of the practice. So it's really just a personal choice, but he can do both. But if he feels that there's only enough time to really put his energies into one, and feels that he wants to build his own brand, there's not. And if he's a sole practitioner, if he plans to stay a sole practitioner, then that sounds perfectly fine.
Great. And the last question is it's one that I'll answer. It's somebody said that they noticed that the ad here, get 10% off Acupuncture MediaWorks products. That's an ad. That is a link on our Facebook page, but we're actually running a special right now for AOM week. You actually get 20% off our products if you go to our site and use the code I love Chi with the QI Chi. So
are there spaces or no spaces?
No spaces, but that's the coupon code is I love Chi, and that's the special that we're running on here. That 10% off that you see on the screen there is for our sort of Facebook online store.
Well, and Jeffrey, I think that's a good point too. Everyone should consider that idea. This I know is always here. This get 10% off Acupuncture MediaWorks. So we're always offering a deal to our Facebook community, and maybe there maybe a lot of practitioners out there would like to do the same thing. In order for your community, your online community, to feel special, sometimes they have to get special treatment. And it's also good bait. And when you say to somebody, hey, are you on Facebook? And they say yes, and say, do you like my page? And say, oh, I don't know, maybe. Say, well, please make sure you like my page because we have a loyalty program, and as long as you like the page, you'll see that we have all kinds of offers that come to members of the community.
Agreed. I think it's important to just stay active. I think the fact that there's been over 200 and something people on this webinar that signed up for it means that there's a lot of interest in people wanting to really learn about how to use social media and Facebook, especially to grow their practice. And it's just a matter of just doing it and doing it and doing it. Hopefully, we gave you guys some really good value today. And if there are any gaps, we'll be sending out an email with all the different links that I mentioned here about the memes and the coaching call and the 2022 technique and the free Like Me poster and all of that. If there's any gaps in anything that you want to get, you need some more information on, just shoot us an email back and we'll be sure to get back to you on that because, we are committed to the success of practitioners
Right.
and we're here to help.
And Jeff, I just want to say that we focus so much on content creation tactics because that's really where people get stuck the most. And the most important thing is not to be stuck, is to get unstuck. It's also important to just understand that you're supposed to try things and enjoy the process. Okay.
Yep, we call that stagnation in Chinese medicine, and we have a really great formula for stagnation called Xiao Yao.
All right.
Xiao Yao Sun. So
hook me up with that.
We'll hook you up with a little liver tea stagnation movement.
Okay.
Anyway, last call. If anyone has any last questions, no one else is raising their hand, and somebody just again. There's a lot of people who want a class about newbies and about setting up a Facebook page, and it looks like we'll definitely be doing that too. It seems like you guys want to do it. So keep your eyes out. We're going to send you an email really soon, probably tomorrow, with all this other information to kind of with all the other links of things that we mentioned in this webinar. Thanks so much for attending, and thanks, Keith, for enlightening us a little further on the wisdom of social media.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Talk soon. Bye.